What's up, everybody? Welcome to season 3 of Rock with Sambongo. I'm Sambongo, by the way. That's my, if you just met me or just tuning in, I'm the guy that you want to talk to. I know everything, basically. I don't know everything. I'm not a narcissist, at least not in the evil sense, but I do my best to make sure that we stay in key. And I'm going to turn this up to a very comfortable tone of mine. Very light delay, half or so reverb. And we're gonna slow blues it in a shred fashion. So I hope you really enjoyed that special piece just for you. I'm going to try to tell you, I'm not going to tell you any stories here along the day. It seems like it's a bit of a rainy day today. It's a light mist. Hopefully that translates over to your side so I don't have to deal with it. And best of all, I have tuned my acoustic guitar down to about a drop C, just like this one. Now the rest is in a standard tuning, so it's very tricky. It's weird. It's not like it's in a flattened tuning. And I'm just going to try it out and see what happens. So, bear with me. Here, let's see what we can do. really brought out some of the crazy side in some of our stuff that we've been doing. I'm gonna turn it over to my favorite drum track, and we're gonna rock out with a bit of heavy duty digit metal. hear the rain coming down now. Sorry. Sometimes I gotta check it. I had some weird mic issues lately. Anyway, so I'm gonna change the backtrack here. One more time. I'm not going back to the acoustic just yet. And we're gonna slide on by through the wheel. Just like a little bit of slow town, Motown groove. That's right. we're blowing through today. Today is going so fast, and I just finished my second day of my new job. I don't really have anything to talk about other than they tested my speed and my agility, my reflexes, my courage, all of the above, and that's exactly what you need to be working a new place. You need a little bit of courage, a little bit of luck, and a little bit of speed and agility. So that was fun. I'm going to remember it for a long time. And for everyone out there right now, just want you to also know you're struggling with any kind of can't find it right now, but come back later. You feel like you're forgotten, left behind and all that, and it's all rushing up on you, and no one's there to help you pick up the pieces anymore. Just remember that there's those out there with you. They're just as big, just as strong, and you gotta have the self-respect, and then you can have respect for everything else, and that's where it starts. So of course, don't do drugs and stay in school and stuff like that. It's September. I want to see everything go right, and let me tune this guitar up. Hang on. So that drop C was kind of interesting, eh? Drop C was so weird. I thought it was cool. Let me try this bluesy lick I wanted to try. So hopefully it's not too loud in that mic, because I keep slapping it pretty hard. Let me see what I can do. So there's one thing I hope totally, truly, indeed, that does not just give you the blues as much as it sounds like it could, but in fact it cures your ailment to the blues, and you have a brand new outlook. Much happier than before. That's what we're going for here on the Sambongo Dragon. So let's turn it up a little bit faster. I like this one. and I'm going to tune that acoustic back up to an E standard. And we're going to play some E standard guitar chords on the acoustic. I'm going to use a guitar pick, not my thumb this time, and we're going to go a lot gentler, and let's see what our greatest compilation turns out to be like. Give me 1 sec, I gotta take a phone call here. Hello? Hello? Sorry, okay, yeah, well, thank you very much. Alright, so we're going to play a little bit of guitar on the acoustic. Now if I might have to save that for the DIY section, but I will say it. Playing the acoustic, I like to keep it in standard tuning, mind you. I don't like super augmented acoustic guitars. I like it natural so far. Maybe when I'm later on, all I can handle is like side career stuff. But it's not side career stuff time yet. I'm not rich and famous or anything. Okay. So with the guitar pick, we got a lot clearer of a sound. So yes, it's nice to play a nice springy, summery acoustic song where you can roar the chords nice and loud. And that is something I want to conclude this episode with, and conclude all the things that we're doing with at the moment. You know, I love playing the electric guitar, and I love getting crazy shred-a-thon tactics going on, and I want to emulate all my favorite artists. But if you play your chords that you know and you recognize, and you play them loud enough, you gotta want that. You know what I mean? You gotta cherish the moments you have around you. Correct? Anyway, So to all you fine folks sitting on your couches, sitting on your beds, sitting on your desks, watching whatever you're doing, spending as much time as you spend, if you do see this, you are watching, just know that there's always an acoustic guitar somewhere, right? I got this thing for $200. That's what I'm trying to say. You can play this thing. You can invite it into your life. You don't have to worry about it sounding too cool, and you don't have to worry about it sounding anything else. You can just play the guitar, or someone who does play the guitar. And that's why I'm doing this, so that if you find yourself in need of a filling sound, you can watch all of these and apparently skip the music theory part and skip the DIY part and cut just to the good stuff, apparently. But we still have half an hour of charging my camera and talking about music theory again. And then I want to do a bit of a DIY on what I might do with an acoustic guitar that is tuned to a standard tuning. Alright, let's get over there and see what we can do. This episode might be going a bit fast, but we'll find a way to fatten it up later on, don't worry. Hey, you're looking good. How are you today? Good? Alright. Sambongo Dragon time. That's me. I got nothing on my shirt. No print, nothing. I'm just a bare bone. That's the way we like it. So, here we go. This is my favorite part. Oh boy. Pew! Okay, so what I got for you here is something extra special. This here are all the notes on the fretboard. And we're going to start here. So first thing you have to know sorry, my camera wasn't on. That's what I don't want. Okay. First thing you have to know is that there's 12, but there's only 7 notes. So what you got is E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Which means you got A, B, C, D, E. This E right here again. F, G. So it starts from an E. Happens to be the last E because there's no middle E or first E. It just happens to be that there's 2. And you decide how that rolls with you. So, the next string up, you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So the next string should be a lot easier to remember because it's in order of the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. But when you get to G, you gotta put an A. So don't forget that the 12th string has an A. Now that's where the confusing part is, right? You're like, oh shit, what's next? What's next? Well, we nailed it somewhat now that I'm looking at my numbers here, because I was going over what I was playing over there and it's like, oh yeah, no, we nailed it. That's where the C is, and that's where the A is, and that's where the E. Now, in fact, this 12th fret right here, E, A, D, G, B, E. Just like the standard tuning over here, E, A, D, G, B, E. It's the exact same. So all notes on the 12th fret are the same as the open strings. Just open fret, nothing on the fingers, right? And if you were to start from a cycle from there, you would put yourself in a rooted position where you have 1 finger on a string, maybe 2 fingers across the string, maybe 1 finger across the entire fret, and you would play with the other fingers, and you would start to confuse your brain, but you would start to get the grasp of where those chords are, all the same. So right here, if you know your E chord, you know the G flat, G sharp, E, B, that's an E chord. Or E, A, C, which is an A minor or an EA C sharp. That's an A. Now if you know those chords and the G, G, B, D, you know your chords. Over here on this 12th fret, you can bar it and find the exact same value chord. Now you can also find the cycled version of power chords and bar chords, but they actually contain the same pieces because you need those notes. So if you play like a G rooted power chord, you would play this G and that D, and you would have a G root power chord, but it is the same G from the B, G, G, B, G, D, the regular G chord, even if you play it up here on the 12th fret. So on the example side, you can put that anywhere on the fretboard. Anywhere. So first of all, you're thinking, anywhere there's a note. I'm going to go with a C right here. This C. And I'm going to choose, boom, this F sharp. And so there's no big deal. You just sharpen the F when you play in this C power chord range of scale that it's playing. And of course, if you wanted to play like a type of C chord, C, D, G, or say C, D sharp, A, or like maybe a C, E, B, you would just simply follow the sharp that is there, or the natural note that is there, and not the sharp that is, say, right here next to the A down on the first fret, or the first string at least, or there's a B flat, or an A sharp. Now B flat is the one I prefer, and I think everyone plays that's the standard is B flat, but there's also A sharp, and it's right there, and it could be an A sharp just as easy as it's a B flat. So this exact diagram, and I think all the diagrams you'll find on the internet of it, are actually containing of both flats and sharps, even though the primary standard required you to go with the flat version. Even though I prefer like an A sharp, or a C sharp, or a D sharp, because D sharp and C sharp and F sharp are very, very strong notes. But a D flat and an E flat, they work very strong for like blues guitar, blues notes, and punk guitars when you play punky styles of guitar stuff. Lots of chords that are very jazzy inspired, right? So that's the rundown here. Basically, you can look at it from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 12. You can look at 1 to 12, and you can place a certain power chord at the beginning of every step. So every single spot you go to has a perfect power chord ready for you. Now if you think about it, you got one up from this F here, you got a B flat power chord, or an A sharp power chord. That's what's kind of weird, right? But naturally, right next to it you got this B power chord. If you wanted a B power chord, it could also be a B sharp or a C flat, and that's what they don't tell you, which is cool because, sorry, it could be a C flat, it couldn't be a B sharp, it could be a C flat though. I test you right there. But the C here, the C could be easily a D flat, like a D. What could that be? I'm sorry, I just got so confused by that for a second. But it happens, and that's a good thing if we want. So right here, this B could be a C flat, and this one could be a B sharp. Very simple. But you see this one here is a C sharp and a D flat. D flat can't get any flatter, so it goes down to a C. C sharp can't get sharper, so it goes down to a C. So if C cannot go forward, right? The problem is, the note over here actually contains only sharps and flats. And if you were to put a sharp or flat on it, it wouldn't work. There would be nothing there. Now that's the mystery part, because the other one over here didn't have that, right? You could put a B flat there. I mean, it does. Or you could put an A sharp there. but this one has a B, and those ones can be altered to the other one in front of it. That's why I bring to you the complication of power chords, which usually include 2 strings. Just 2 strings. Just 2 notes. One exactly 1 step ahead on the end of the pentatonic scale, so to speak. It's near the pentatonic structure, depending on which pentatonic you're playing. So of course, let's go over that one last time with a brand new thing. You got your E standard, and if you play 1 string here on the B, you got an E-B power chord just like you would have here on the 12th. But if you want to make a power chord exactly on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, just above the A, you would have no choice to be making it a B flat or an A sharp, and yet the F. Here is your F. This F is the same for both B flat and A sharp. Those are 2 very opposite. B flat, A sharp. Those are 4 steps away, basically, right? Basically 4 steps away, but there's like a weird inverted from one, and then the other one, and then the other one. But they're actually inwards, so it's 4 steps going inwards. So if you're playing a, say, G power chord, G and D, they both require you to play G and D. Just like so. G and D. No sharp, no flat. Sorry, I'm sneezing. So G, D. No sharps, no flats necessary. However, if you look around the D string here, the D note, the D could easily contain, well, it can't contain anything else. I'm sorry, it can't. Because it's like chemistry. There's nothing it can do. It's just a D, the C sharp and the D flat. You got the one that's under it, you got the one that's just over the last one. The D sharp and the E flat. You got the one that's under the E and you got the one just above it. They're all blocking it in. And right next to it you have an E and an F. Now this E can be an F flat. And this F can be an E sharp. And E sharp is actually one of the more common likelinesses of a guitar solo and whatnot. So just like chemistry, if there's no electrons available for that one, or for some reason those electrons are the wrong kind of electron, like a negative or a positive, versus their negative and positives, they won't mix. So just like chemistry, only these ones with the 2 spots, where there's 2 completely solid natural notes, even going up and down, by the way, even going up and down. That's where the fun part is, because if you look at this fret here on the 5th, all 5 are completely natural. Same with 12, and same with 10. The D root. A very famous one, anyway. I think, actually, if you look at the fretboard, look right with me, the only one that is completely filled with actually only natural notes is the D rooted. D, E, G, A, C, D, F, G, A, B, D, E. They are completely natural. Now, every other one that seems like it's going along the way hits a sharp, even this one right here, just 1 sharp, 1 flat. And then if you go over here, in reverse, and if you go over here, oh, we got one. Where's the next one? Not that one, obviously. Oh, boom, 1 sharp, 1 flat. It's the only one on the fretboard is the D and the E. Unless you're like me and I have a 24 fret guitar, that means I have 2 of those. I have 2 D pentatonic sections. So anyway, that is a holistic look at the fretboard. If you look at the fretboard, you got a lot of craziness going on. You want to place a power chord at every single stop along the way. and you want to be able to understand why the second note in the chord is a flat or a sharp, and you want to understand why the first note in the chord is a flat or a sharp. And you look at what it means to make a chord. And what it means to make a chord is you take the root note of the chord, the first one, the name of the chord. You take the third or the minor in the scale of that chord. So if you have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you take an A, you skip the B, and you go to the C. Because A is the major, B is the other major, and C is the minor, the first minor. Now this is because the order of song and all the chords A, B to C to G is major, major, minor, minor, major, minor, diminished. 7. You play 7, major, major, minor, minor, major, minor, diminished. And that's the complication of all music. So of course you play 1, 3, 5. Root, first minor, and the second minor. The second minor. So it's made up of 2 minor chords. And that's why this is a D minor chord in the key of C, because it's C, or D, D, F, A. So it's in the key of C, so you play the first one. Right here. Yeah. There it is. For some reason they share this F. Now, that's this F right here. Let's go back right here. This F. Third one on. Let's go back and check it out fully. Oh, that's not it. Here we go. You ready? This F right here. It's a heavy-duty structure that we just saw. Let's go back here. Oh, that's a C. Hang on. I want the other one. There we go. F. So it's a D, F, A. So this D, this F, and this A. So what we have is a root. This one all the way back here is the third. So if you look at the root D, you go 1, that's an E, and you go 2, that's an F. That's the third. 1, 2, 3. D, E, F. So you got to find the next F for the chord, and the next one is on the next string, which happens to be a D tuned string. So D to F. And then you need the fifth, which is funny because from that F over there, you go 1, 2, and you go to an A. But you gotta find the next one in that chord sequence, which is over here on the G string. Otherwise you would have 3 spots on it like this, all on the same string, and they wouldn't do anything. Or you would have 3 full ones all the way on the furthest octave, and you're talking about a different key signature for all 3 at the same time. Now maybe you could do that in the future, I don't know. Maybe, but there's this way, and this is the proper way to do it, so to speak. So D, F, A. And you find where your roots are. So of course, knowing where your full steps are and your half steps, that's the point here. So F to G at the first fret here, F to G is a full step. G to A is a full step. A to B is a full step. B to C is a half step, but they're full notes. Which means that their other meaning is hidden. So then C to D is a full and D to E is a full, but you got a B to C over here, and the standard tuning allows you to see it that B, C, E, F are the ones that are together. So you got B, C, E, F right here. You got a B, C, E, F right here. You got a B, C, E, F right here. And over here you would have a B and a C and an E and an F. Just like how you would have a B, C, E, F on the bottom half. But there is no string below that, so it keeps going up. So let's go take a look at where all the B, C, E, Fs are here, and we'll find the craziness that happens to be the guitar. Now follow me along with the mouse very closely with your eyes. I'm going to move the mouse right here. You got it? Okay, so B, C, E, F. Moving up, we got a B, C, E, F. The second B, C, E, F. Oh no. Let's move on to the next one. You ready? Down here. B, C, E, F. Right next to each other. Let's move on again. Right here next to it. B, C, E, F. Oh, it's getting easy. And then right here, there would be another E, F right here. B, C, E, F. C, F right there. But we have this craziness right over here. B, C, E, F. And it's the only one on the fretboard. Now that's the interesting part, because if you think about it, you got a B here and an E up here. But if you go all the way over here to the 12th fret, you got a B and an E and they're right on top of each other. What happened? Why did the B on the string below it fall behind when this string here is the one that fell behind? That's because it's tuned down half a step. The B is 1/2 a step away from all other 5 to 6 strings in total. So you got 6 strings, and the B string is the one that's tuned half a step down, which actually makes the natural order of the guitar possible, but at the same time separate from where a bass would land a B, C, E, F, 1 step ahead. And the next B, C, E, F happens to be on the 6th and 5th string, B, C, E, F, in a perfect order. Perfect order. B, C, E, F, one above each other, just like this right here, this right here, and this right here. So now that you see that you got 1, 2, 3. It looks like a giant chord, right? It looks like one giant chord. However, it would be a very special chord. It would be an augmented chord. And in fact, I don't think the guitar can make that sound, despite its irony here. So of course, that's the fretboard. If you look at the fretboard now, and you realize that there's just a lot of places for you to go on it, what you want is to hit all the notes you know you need to hit for the thing you're trying to do. So if you have a job, and your job is to do many things, your job is not finished until you finish all of those things. And what you have to do is get each piece for each job and do each piece of each job differently according to what those things are. Say if you're a cook, you have to prepare the raw food, then you have to put the food together, then you have to cook the food, then you have to cut the food up or package the food, then you have to deliver the food. Those are all very different jobs, but once you're done the 8 hours of work, you only finished one job. You just did a lot of work, that's all. So anyway, that's what that is. And now let's talk about my favorite thing ever. or, well, of course, I want to, and we'll talk about that more later. This is where we're going to get a little bit of timing figured out. So these are notes. And they don't look anything like the fretboard you were just looking at. That's the trouble. So one day you're going to recognize the fretboard by your polka dots, your cheats, your many ways to understand it, your memorabilities of it, your titlings, your songs, the favorite songs you play in the key that they are, all the practice you do, right? And then one day you would remember, oh, I'm going to go look at the notation so I can make sure I write a complicated enough structure and sequence that I can truly be proud of. So you look at what you got here, and it's FACE. Those are the notes of the fretboard if the fretboard was turned into a book. If you took the fretboard and turned it into a book, this is what the notes would be, standardized tuning. You would play this as an open string. Even though this is not an open string, this is an FACE, which means they can be in any octave. They could be in absolutely any F, A, C, or any E. Any E right here. E, A, F, C, and look at that. C underneath an F. Like, it could be in any order at any time across the entire fretboard. So notation tends to have a single value, a double value, or a fraction value. So now, if you were to play only single values, that would be cool. It would be very good. I do that a lot. I play a lot of single values. I do it. And of course I play a lot of double values even. And sometimes I play quadruple values, which would be like one large single value, a whole bar, right? I like to simplify things. So, but if you were to play, you got one single value for each. And if you were to imagine this as every now and again, one of these turns into a quarter or a fraction value. And next to it is an adjacent chord or note. Just like this piano where all of these notes are exactly together, just imagine all the way here on the C, the first one, and all the way on the B, the last one over here, the second B that even shows up. Completely separated by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 notes. Completely separated. You put it right next to this F. And this A, you do the same thing. Look above it, right here. You got an entire arrangement of A to G, A to G, A to D. That is all of it right there. 8, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. You got 20 notes. And on the fretboard there's 21 frets, sometimes 22, and I'm special, I got a 24. So, if each one of those can be changed, but some of the flats and sharps cannot be changed, you simply have to play the extra invisible boundaries, which we do have right here, above the standardized 5 bars, and below by 2 full bars on the first A. The first A, from the very first string of an E, is actually 2 complete bars away. So therefore, if you were able to put a whole note of any kind right next to these quarter notes, you would need additional bars, but it wouldn't change the structure of these notes. Because, I tell you that because you can put a bar between it, and you could put a bar and then a bunch of blank dots, and shorten that later with another bar that says those are extra picked up. But they aren't. And that's why you play something like a 32nd note, or a 64th note, or a 16th note, and these are, I believe, 8th notes. Now there are half notes and full notes. So if you had one made up of full notes, you would have to do the same thing. And that's what songs are. Songs are typically made of one bar at a time or a full note at a time. So if one note, one bar, was one key signature, one key scale, one major note, one minor, or one diminished, one augmented chord, one member of the circle of fifths, one member of the circle of sevenths, one perfect other chord, note, or structure, or even just an entire pause for the bass and the drums to bleed through, it would not change. You could still put a bar and play the next single note later, and the bar would still contain other weird notes that pick up afterwards, and or they would be dotted off with line. So to keep reading it simple, you put it directly after it, you choose the value of it, and you span it out the entire length of the bar. But to visualize it better, you could put a note next to every one of these and subdominantly write just a note underneath it, even though it's almost impossible to tell how many beats per minute it falls on in between, minus the fractional amount of the remaining chord. So instead of taking the note here and putting a dot, which adds half the value, you could put a dot above a rested note with a tail to recognize that the sound lingers on, and then continue with the whole note underneath it, above it, around it, linked together. And you could, but it would be extremely complicated. But typically, that's called a drone. And you have one whole note playing, and you don't just play two extra notes and then go do-do-do-do. That would be rhythm section. Rhythm. That would be making it into a percussion instrument with a note, with a melody pitch note that hopefully is on key, and it's just an extra instrument played with the individual instrument. Kind of like how a beatboxer works, right? So if that's the case here, what you'll know is the Andalusian cadence. We figured these out. These are the flamenco style. And fully aware, the flamenco style allows for a drone. And typically they play one string, one note, with a whole bunch of finger movement. Usually they use 1, 2, 3, and 4, and they do a whole lot of it. So I'm going to do that over there on the guitar after this to example it, and that will conclude the lesson section of this while my camera is charging, and let's get back over there to show you what I'm talking about. But that is an Andalusian section, and we've covered that a few times with this circle of fifths. These are 5 away, and we will be back. Thank you so much for following along, and we'll go right over there. Hang on, I'll be back. Let me turn it on so that it looks like we're even going through in time. Okay, you ready? Okay. Alright, my friends. I'm going to show you what a flamenco guitarist on a steel string... Okay, steel strings can do flamenco. Auditorily wise, like it'll sound good in flamenco. But it's not easy to do. Nor is it contemporary. It's actually more of a classical flamenco, because it was long since the guitar has now been invented. Anyway, at least that's my opinion. I have one. Excuse me. Anyway, so this is what a drone / single note with many notes played sounds like. Let me try that out. With the DIY coming up, let's see what happens. So it comes with its own burdens, but it is something extra, and it is something special. And on the electric it sounds a lot different, so let's try our best to make this with some cool effects. I'm going to put on a guitar effect here. This one I like. It's one of the first guitar effects ever invented. It's called a tape echoer. So back in the day when blues guitar was made and it was first electrified, they found that they could echo the tape itself. And they call it a tape echoer. So let's hear this one out. So as far as I'm concerned, that needs a little DIY treatment. So I'm gonna do what I did there. I'm gonna play me some chords. I'm gonna rock and roll with it. I'm gonna play it, record this thing. I'm gonna set it up with a whole video, and I believe this one might deserve something extra spicy. We'll see what happens. Batteries died on my other thingy. All right, I'm gonna come over here. We're gonna do this DIY thing here. Yep. Okay. Uh, so how you doing? Yeah, we're up nice and close. This is awesome. We love being up this close. Sorry. Okay. So we need a little video for this guy. I mean, we need a video for this. Maybe we'll just do the same Pingu one. I think he's cool. I didn't prepare you one other than bacon pancakes. Let me open up my folder where it was. Close that. And let's get a clip champ going. Now, what happened was maybe that's just right. Maybe that's what we needed right here. Just like so. In fact, no. Yeah, maybe we'll just leave it like this, and this is our DIY. What do you think? Okay, so what happened is my battery died inside my boom over there, the one that's sitting on my actual table. Sorry, yeah, the one that's sitting on my table. It battery died, so I have just the SM. Luckily, it never dies. And let's upload this over here, just like so, nice and quickly. I know it sounds. Oh, you know what? Actually, now that you mention it, I might need to turn up the audio track itself on Clipchamp, so I do have to do it after all. For this thing, 200%. Let's go. Let's do it. I believe let's go is the term, actually. I'm almost certain. They say let's go when they're really excited about something, don't they still? I think that's what it is. Now, my Clipchamp is loading. Oh boy, it's gonna take a while. Yeah, relaunch. What is that? Why would it relaunch? Now, Clipchamp has given me trouble since the beginning of time I've got it, but it's also been the absolutely best and most perfect example of audio and video collaborative project making technology. I made Guntata and Smokescreen out of just clips I found on Clipchamp that were just hanging around. I just cut them into certain sizes and put them over top of each other. And they were very well received on it. So, of course, hopefully this DIY right here of just me playing on the guitar is enough for you to realize. Think about this. Think about it for a while. You got your Pingu, you got your Elmo, you got all these cool-ass things going on, and yet you finally have the chance to catch yourself. How cool is yourself? Yourself is the coolest thing in the world. Yourself is willing to be everything that's ever been. Yourself is willing to be everything that you've never been. And of course, yourself has only ever wanted to be all the things you've never even heard of and can't even imagine. So with that, I want to conclude this episode to stay strong, guys. Don't do drugs. Stay in school. September just started. October's on the way. New Year's is coming. Make that resolution. Don't do drugs. Stay in school. Read a book. Be all the ways. All otherwise respectful to everyone around you that you can. Make a friend. Be brave, take a risk, have some fun, and of course play some guitar or some music and treat yourself right. So anyway, I'm going to put this up on YouTube and see what happens. Anybody out there right now experiencing the same feeling I feel about anxiety, depression, any kind of pressure of the world? Let it brush off you. It needs to be brushed off. It doesn't have to become a part of your personality. It doesn't have to become a part of everything and anything that you've ever done. And that will conclude the Sambongo. Hang on. Let me see. What am I gonna call this thing? What am I gonna call it? You know, Pickless. I'm going to call it Pickless because I don't have a pick. I do have a pick, but not anymore. So anyway, we're uploading it. 92%, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100% uploaded. That is awesome. So just like that, so easy. Close this and voila, there it is, uploaded, and it's on its way. And you guys really liked the Pingu one. Holy crap, it got like 400 views right away. 580. I don't believe it. Anyway, maybe you guys can pay attention to some of the more important things. I don't know. Anyway, it's been a lot of fun playing with you guys. I'm going to play us out, and we'll see you guys around.